There was a press conference yesterday. Katherine Grzejszczak was at the press conference yesterday and is joining me right now. How are you today, Katherine?
I am doing okay. Thank you for having me on, Karl.
I appreciate having you on, and I'm glad that we can help share your story. And so I just want to get right into it. You were terminated following a Facebook post supporting an anti-war rally. I believe is a bit of the background context. Can you tell our listeners? Did I get that right? Can you tell us a little more about your story?
That's right. So I am a member of CUPE Ontario. I am a member of their executive board. CUPE Ontario put up a Facebook post inviting the public to a hands-off Iran rally. This was earlier in June of this year. And I commented on the post on June 19th at 1 a.m. for my personal Facebook account. I was not on work time. My comment was in no way related to my employment with York Region as a paramedic. By June 20th, the next day, in the afternoon, I was called in for an investigation meeting. The employer asked me about my post and my post only. I was then asked to wait outside for 20 minutes, brought back in, and I was terminated effective immediately for cause. A couple days later, on June 22nd, a City of Vaughan politician, Gila Marto, put up her own Facebook post where effectively, I would say, she took political credit for herself and for City of Vaughan Mayor Del Duca for terminating my employment, saying that a hateful post had been brought to her attention. They had reached out to the chair of York Region. The matter was investigated, and they received confirmation that the individual in question was no longer employed by York Region as a paramedic.
There's so much to this, and so I want to talk about the post itself and the intent behind the post, but I just want to walk through the process of you're brought in and you're spoken to and you're told about the post and then let go with cause. Is the sort of order of events?
That is absolutely correct. All of which took place within 48 hours of me actually posting these comments on Facebook.
There are so many layers to this. So yeah, let me start with the post itself. So this wasn't, you weren't wearing your uniform, you weren't on company time, you weren't using company assets. Why this? I mean, were you told anything about why this topic and like what exactly did you post? What did you comment on?
Why don't I read it to you?
Sure.
So this was the invitation to the rally. There was people commenting. This was, again, a CUPE Ontario had put up a Facebook post asking folks to attend this rally, talking about this rally. There were a lot of attacks on that Facebook feed particularly. And so what I said, in the last 2 years, Israel has bombed Palestine, Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, and now Iran. They have been occupying Palestine for 75 plus years. They are luring starving Palestinian children to their concentration camp food aid depots so they can snipe them dead. They keep murdering workers, media, healthcare, municipal. They just mass murdered 15 first responders, including 7 paramedics. Any union or other organization that doesn't fight this is choosing to stay silent during genocide. Thanks, CUPE Ontario and Toronto and New York Region Labour Council for asking members to join these demonstrations to stop the bombing of Iran. You're one of the few who stand in solidarity with workers. That is what I was fired for saying on Facebook.
We have talked extensively on One Dish, One Mic, which you can listen to here on 610 CKTB on Saturdays from 10 to 11. We've talked about this. And I can tell you that every statement that you made has been fact-checked by the United Nations, in reference to the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation you're talking to when you're talking about the aid sites that people have been attacked at and your statements around genocide. I personally have talked to officials from Amnesty International. This is not a wild statement that you're making. It's a strong opinion, but again, I believe you're entitled to the opinion. So, but okay, so you're brought in. You're let go. What did the union do? Where do they fit in? You had a press conference and you chose Niagara as a location for a couple of reasons.
Correct. So my union, of course, immediately filed a grievance citing that this is an unjust termination. The grievance was heard by my employer, York Region, in July. And then again, we had another meeting in August where the employer heard the grievance. The employer denied the grievance and is sticking by their decision, saying that they did not violate our collective agreement by terminating me. And so we did, as the QP Ontario Executive Board, we had a planning session, a week-long planning session in Niagara. We happened to be in the area. We connected with some of the activists and even a regional counselor who have been doing solidarity work around what is happening in Palestine. And so they also agreed to be a part of the press conference. And I think there's a bigger silencing that is happening around this issue. I think that is actually the reason why I was terminated, is because supporters of Israel do not want this issue being discussed. And I think that we've seen that in Niagara Region as well, where Haley Bateman tried to bring a motion in support of Palestine, I believe asking for a ceasefire. Council wouldn't even debate her motion. They voted down even having a debate on it. And I think that's part of the same problem that we're seeing, is that people are effectively being given the message that you will not speak about this issue. And yet the Canadian government continues to support Israel, both politically by making statements saying that Israel has the right to defend itself. Genocide is absolutely not self-defense, and what we are seeing is genocide. We continue to send military equipment to a country that is committing a genocide. We are, as you know, the Canadian government is supporting that genocide, and this is an issue that people should absolutely be able to openly discuss. And yet supporters of Israel are, orchestrating these firing campaigns. This is an orchestrated campaign to have me fired, let's be honest, right? People are facing trumped-up charges for participating in demonstrations against this. And so the message, and there's a reason why supporters of Israel don't want to have an open discussion. And the reason is because they will never win an open discussion based on the merits of their arguments. So instead, they smear people as being anti-Semitic. They go after people's employment. And we are paying a very heavy price in terms of freedom of expression, so that a country on the other side of the world can go on committing a genocide. And I think most people at this point in time absolutely disagree with what is happening and with Canada's participation in it.
A lot of polling has reinforced what you've just shared, and again, I can say that for the sake of balance, I've explored the other side of what you're saying, and I think there are two sides to this. You have a strong opinion. There are facts that support this strong opinion, but let's circle back to you being let go from your employment, because we should be allowed to express our opinions, especially outside of our workplace, not on behalf of our employers and organizations, but you've now been let go. You've been let go. There's a direct line to the statement that has happened. What's the personal impact on you now?
Well, I loved my job as a paramedic. The job of a paramedic is to preserve life, to alleviate suffering. I think that's completely in line with me trying to organize through my union to end this genocide. I'm extremely saddened and disappointed that my employer has decided to do this. I'm not working as a paramedic at the moment. It's a job that I absolutely love and I miss doing. And so, as much as I have been tremendously supported by my union, by my family, by just workers, people who know the story, labor councils have put out statements in my support, obviously Palestine solidarity activists, have been supporting me. So I've been lucky in that I have, because I am so connected to the union movement, I have had this tremendous level of support, which has made it bearable for me to be able to come onto your show and speak about this issues is precisely because I have faced this incredible level of support. So as difficult as it's been, I'm trying to use, the news of this termination and what has happened to me to say, clearly this is wrong. It is wrong to do this to people because they express a political opinion. And today we might be talking about what's happening in Palestine, and tomorrow is going to be another issue. And if you're a worker and you don't express the position that your employer wants you to express, the precedent that's been set is you will lose your job. Right? And it's so important to fight this through the grievance process and otherwise, and to speak against it, because I don't think this is a right that workers should ever give up, that we should ever give up as members of the public.
I really appreciate you taking some time and joining us. Katherine Grzejszczak, thank you so much for joining us on air.
Thank you so much for having me, Karl.
We're going to get the news. We'll be back with more Niagara in the Morning.